The difference to this lineup, they skip that throws second stones. Sina Nakajima, 21-year-old. And this team that played at the World Championship last year finished fourth, had a very strong showing.
They certainly did for the first international event representing Japan. And they're still a young team, but they would have gained a lot of experience from that world visit last year, or last season.
These are the two nations that faced off in the championship game of the Pacific Asia Championship last year. So you see Kim Soo-ji. But there's two different teams that are playing in this one. Last year was Kim Min-ji and Satsuki Fujisawa. So we see the rules of play. 6 ends minimum must be played, 38 minutes of thinking time given, and 1 60-second timeout. Japan without the hammer. Love to make that roll underneath.
Yeah, definitely. They've seen that it does come enough at the end there, they can in behind. This one was just played out a bit at release and it's not getting the swing. Rolls the other way.
Here's a look. All 4 sheets that are in action were on sheet B. China, Hong Kong on sheet C, Kazakhstan, Chinese Taipei on sheet D, and Australia, Qatar over on sheet E. Here in this first of the women's games.
Trying to bury this in behind that guard as far as they can. Just top 12.
And Roni, you see the directional sweeping. These two teams will really try and use that to their benefit.
Yeah, definitely. Trying to curl that stone in behind the guard. So with the placement of that, if Japan tried to hit it, it could jam in their own red over in the wing. So we're deciding just to go for the run back. Put the red straight back onto the yellow.
Chiaki Matsumura. Make the run, have that stone roll out. So still Japan lying one. Matsumura, the only member of this Japanese team that's been to a Pacific Asia Championship before. That was in 2012. She was the lead and won the silver medal. Minji, third for Korea.
So it looks a better weight. Really nice shot.
Wow, the freeze right down to the face. Great touch there for Matsumura.
언니가 맞게 찬 거야. 뒤에는 위험할 것 같대요. 뭐래? 뒤에는 위험할 것 같은데 어떠니? 에? 1군! 붙여놓는 거 별로.
You can see there with the two staggered guards. There's not really a way into that. But although Korea lies short, they're still trying to think, how can we get two out of this? They don't want to settle for a score of 1.
그래도 기다려야 돼. 11. 지아 12. 11. 아니야, 기다려. 12. 셋.
That one goes right by everything. Pack of the 12-foot.
6번.
So mistake there, missing the wrong way.
야, そこぴったりだけどこっちも厳しいかもよ、通るの。うん、オッケー。だったらここまで。
So if Japan bring another one in here, just even freezing on top of that red, half checking it, it makes it very difficult for Korea to draw a second one in.
Now the 4-stone thrower, Ikue Kitazawa. Strong showing, throwing those final stones at the World Championship last year. Just closing in that scoring zone. You need a piece of the button to get that second point right now.
어디야? 지금은 1, 2번 만드는 거야, 8이야. 7 아니면 6? 7. 7이 언니? 8 가면 1, 2번 돼? 어. 8 다 들어가고 거의 9에 가까워요. 오케이. 1, 2번 만드는 거 같아. 오케이. 파이팅! 7 정도 하면 돼? 네. 민지 몇이었어? 6반. 6. 오케이.
Kim Eun-chi.
밀리지 않았어. 그지야? 가야 돼, 가야 돼. 가야 돼, 가야 돼.
Skip for this Korean side. Get her 5th Pacific Asia Championship. Won it twice, 2010, 2013. We'll start off this championship by wrecking on the guard.
웨이트 괜찮았는데 갈 수 있을 것 같아.
Still Korea line one with the hammer.
밀리지 않게?
Yeah, Japan not too bothered about the fact Korea are lying one. They're quite happy to give them one at this first end. Trying to reduce the ways in for Japan to draw for 2.
今と同じぐらいでいいかい。そうね。ちょっと見すぎちゃった。
And this would leave virtually nothing to get that second point if this is executed.
Yeah, the yellow guard out front is about the only stone that Korea could use to raise up. So if they come past us through the gap, it'll block that.
Oh, there's no hole, it's just that. You said the tap, that's the only option. Really rather risk-free for Korea. You ever tough to tap this and do any harm to yourself?
Yeah, risk versus reward at the first end. You know, a tap for 2. If it goes wrong and you give up a 1, it's not a disaster.
언니 잘은 그냥 갈게. 좋아. 라인만. 좋아, 좋아. 오케이, 땡. 살짝 바깥으로 돼. 네. 파이팅.
So, final stone here of this first end. Kim Eun-chi. Gotta hold the right line. Now, it's gotta stop in the forefoot, and it's too heavy, goes right by. So all that, a single point to start things off by Korea. In a battle of the final 2 finalists from last year's championship. Trying to get back to that here in Shenzhen.
잘했어요. 봐서 그래. 코리아. 잘했어. 3구. 10초 53. 잘해. 1점 이상. 언니. 첫 길이야.
Korea able to get a single point with the hammer in that first end. Now it's Japan's turn. So we play the second end. Luke Coley here. Rona Howie. Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2019. We're in the lovely city of Shenzhen, China. Beautiful day outside. Not necessarily feeling completely like curling weather, but I have no complaints. Coming from 30 degrees Celsius almost outside to coming in to watch this. The curlers out on the ice. That one will just hang around. So Rona, if that one's out, you still can't hit it, right? If it doesn't go into the rings?
Yeah, if it stayed out as a guard, it would have remained. They wouldn't have been able to remove it. Some young fans in watching, supporting.
Well, trying to get that close-up shot of these world-class curlers.
Oh, some more fans in the stands.
Just peering over, wanting to see what's all about. Rona, do you think any of these teams got a little bit of a report of the ice conditions in the game situation earlier from on the men's side? That maybe try and be a little aggressive early. Easier you get if you can get a lead early. It's easier to play the hit game than trying to draw late in these matchups.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the nations in the women's game, as you say, the men played earlier on, so I'm sure they'll have got feedback from them. And without doubt, it's definitely better to go for it in the first half of the game when the ice is fresher. So certainly when the men had the frost building up, it was definitely changing.
Well, we'll keep you up to date. The other games going on right next to us. China against Hong Kong. This is Hong Kong with the hammer here in this first end.
And Ling Hu Hung facing a couple of red counters there, trying to lift them both. Has it got enough? It doesn't. Removes one from play though, so it's a steal of one for China.
Well, it looked like that biter actually was in up top, so a steal of 2 for China. So an early lead for China. Of course, on the men's side, there's only one spot straight to the World Championship available. On the women's side, gold and silver. So first and second get a spot to make the trip to Canada and Prince George.
Yeah, and that's all based on ranking from last year's World Championships. The zones are awarded the placings. So because it was a Pacific Asia region that unfortunately finished at the bottom of the world rankings last year, they lose a spot in the men's. So it is harder for the men, 1 team out of 10, whereas in the women's it's 2 out of 8.
Yeah, I like the math on the women's side a little better.
Yes, I think your odds are slightly better if you're a woman. But the men can still, the second and third place men's teams here will be able to go to the world qualifying event in Finland. They all want that elusive place at the men's world's championship to try and gain Olympic points.
So with a couple come-arounds not quite set up where they want, Korea's deep in the rings. Japan's gonna go deep as well, trying to use those corner guards. Stops just in time to lie shots, though.
아, 그러긴 너무 안 보여. 환불? 어려워. 환불.
So that stone pretty accessible with the how far that guard is out in front.
Yeah, they won't be able to see much of it from the hack at all. It's pretty well buried, but as you see, with the distance from the guard to the stone, there's enough of a curl in the ice that you can pass the guard and still reach that one at the back. I think that's where with the big swings in the ice, you'll see a lot of hack weights being played.
There's a perfect one. Hit, roll, lie 2.
Really nice weight, well controlled. And a key here for the skips when they're reading these shots is to make sure that they anticipate the swing early, because once it goes, it's too late. So it's anticipating that swing early and then upping if you need to for the sweep.
They get a little bit of a break. Don't quite remove both. They're able to remove that one, but really did want to hold their shooter.
We've seen there's not a huge reaction of the stones when you do hit the 2, when the momentum's coming off one and just leaving one in the rings. Was it enough?
It's very close. I don't think it quite got there. See the Korean bench in behind. Shin Dong-ho, team coach. Along with other coach Guy Hemmings, a Canadian curler, jumping aboard, working the Korean side. No stranger to Canadians coming and helping the Korean side.
There's a few Canadians going all around, not just to Korea, passing on their expertise and knowledge.
While trying to get around. Again, over curl, seeing that so much early in this event. Just over curling ever so slightly. I believe you said it already, Rona. Once you got to anticipate it. Once it goes, it's too late.
And also as well, it's judging the weight. When you've got a big swing like that, you need to play that ounce more running to be able to deal with it, because once it starts swinging, you need that running on the stones to take the swing, or it just dies.
Japanese coach Yusuke Morizumi, well-accomplished curler in his own right, now coaching for the 2nd year. So with this team at the World Championship last year.
민전이 9위였어. 수전이 68이었고 참고해요. 파이팅! 오, 가죠. 민지야, 내가 가야 돼. 그냥 가. 약해. 계속 많이 약해. 안 들어가. 셋. 안 들어가. 아예 있게 던졌어. 첫 길이라.
That came up way short. The wider you go as well, it will be slightly slower. It's frostier out there.
ちょっと難しいっちゃ難しい。3分の2。もう1個待ってもいいし。オッケー。上立ってもいいと思う。12。12遅いわ。10。そうね。11半遅い。あ、ビッグみたいな。11でも悪くないと思う。11半から11前半。11半から11。斜めにタップ。
Japan have got last stone. They could even play the split on this and get 2 counters in. Or just go for the straight tap and be lying shot guarded just now.
Thought I saw the indication to try and split it. Try and roll both of them on. Because you don't need full 12-foot for each of them to even get that. Ikui Kitazawa straight tap.
ナイス
Good plan B.
12.2
Get that one in for shot stone.
あごめんあナイスナイスナイス
The tapper split's always a good option. You know, when you're playing one of these, just make sure you get one or the other. We sometimes see often when teams, they'll go for the split, but they'll overthrow it. And then when they do end up getting the straight tap, it taps it too far.
나밖에 안 샀어
But, it's a nice weight.
내 거 5였어요 언니 게 좀 더 바꾸러 가긴 할 거야 여유 있게 가 파이팅! 네. 기다려 기다려 아니야 라인이 아니야 라인이 아니야
He's got a long way. Got to just get past that corner guard. Buy it. Now does it stop to be shot stone, go around? And it goes too far, so it's still shot stone. I wonder if it had less weight, if it would have got by the center line guard.
No, because when you saw the way that passed the longer guard, then coming to the centre guard, if it had been lighter weight, I don't think that track would have been there.
That was a lot of, here's the directional sweep to try and get it to curl. Then try and hold the line. And just goes too far back. It's still a shot stone. And Japan can play that in-turn, drawing away from the center. There's a nice port available.
Yeah, I just need to bite the 8 foot.
Well, they've thrown it a couple times in the end.
We're going to have to sweep this though. I think that's way light.
And it's not going to hit the house. An opportunity for a second point. Missed in the second end by Japan. So they'll each trade singles. Missed chances. But it's 1-1 Japan-Korea after 2.
누구야? 나. 언니 9위. 저 여기 그 사이드 진짜 미쳤어.
얘 좀 던져가지고 사이드 쪽은 나을 것 같아. 저거 완전 진짜 뺑을 돌렸는데.
3엔드 동점의 후공. 어때 아깝니?
Well, both teams have missed a chance for that extra point early in this game. 8 ends remaining. Pacific Asia Curling Championship 2019. Centerline guard to start things off by Hasumi Ishiguka. Neither side hesitating to go after the game aggressively.
As we said earlier, with the ice conditions changing kind of halfway through the game, you really want to be playing the cleaner hitting game in the second half than the more delicate drawing game. And the frost can become so unpredictable It's very hard to actually read the draw weight.
Will it change at all because we are on sheet B, which is normally a middle sheet, but there's no play on sheet A? Is that the airflow different than what it would be if you're on sheet B with someone playing on both sides of you?
Yeah, definitely. Without the body temperature next door, that will be cooler, so you may see a difference in that side of the ice. So, looking at it here, that the left-hand side of the sheet could be different to the right. We saw it earlier with the crowd side. The extra body heat made that side very frosty. But the ice is still fairly new, it's still fairly fresh, and we're still working with the dehumidifiers. It's a very tough job when it's so hot outside.
Just a little touch of that guard trying to get at that stone in the forefoot. Small opening now for Japan and Nakajima.
Yeah, I just feel just now both teams are making a couple of errors, and it's who's going to capitalise first and take that chance. Yeah, just looking for another longer guard here.
Well, it is Korea with the hammer in this third end.
So free guard zone has finished. Yeah, looking to clear both guards out of play here.
And only gets rid of the singles, so still that guard out in front. Let's look over sheet E. Australia, Qatar, 1-0 Qatar leads as they play in the second end.
And Australia lying a couple in there.
You need 8 foot.
12 foot, 8
You need
foot.
8 foot.
Warren Wagner, skip for Australia.
It's there, it's there. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Is it going to stop?
Nope, it's gonna sit.
And it does. Score of 3 for Australia.
Used every inch available that they needed to get that third point, but good start there for Australia after 2 ends of play. A slide over China, leading Hong Kong 2-0 in the second, and shot stone for China.
China just lying 1, but Hong Kong lying a couple of second shots. Not easy to remove this.
Needs to move, guys.
Ling Hu Hung just looking to clip the red shot stone off the button and bring the 3 counters into play, but makes no contact with it. So it's a steal of 1. China extend their lead to 3-0.
Those are tough ones because you know you have an opportunity to score multiple if you get rid of just that single stone. Instead, it's a possible 4-point swing.
Yeah, didn't need to move it far, just out the 4 foot really.
Japan happy, just continue to put up the guards.
Yep, their stone's biting the edge of the button, so quite happy just to keep guarding.
How long till Korea has to decide, well, we need to make a play in the rings?
I think a few stones yet. They'll just try and keep clearing one of these ones. You might lift a double from the guards, and then it's a completely different end. Just like that.
You called it, Rona. Get rid of both those guards. Now it's just one that's going to protect them.
And guarding on ice that's as swingy as this is very, very difficult to completely cover the stone. Oh, phew, she says. Thank goodness I did that.
Yeah, they took a couple cracks at it, but needed to come up with that one.
Yeah, really nice shot. So now it is harder to put that one guard up because the ice is so swingy. To get the line right is difficult.
Wow, well, very well placed.
Yep, very good. You wonder even if it is that fraction too long still, that they can come round it.
네. 하은이 들어올까나 그래도 괜찮아. 알겠어요, 언니.
دزيتها بس شوف
맞고 나오는 게 더 안 좋을 것 같은데.
خليها دزيتها
열어라.
ان شاء الله بتضرب بالحمراء
언니 좀만.
خليها ما تضرب وايد تلف
열어나.
الثلج السالفته وايد تروح الحصايه هناك والمثلث برموده هني زين بعدين يبوا نقرب واقول لك
야, 열이면 와. 열어라. 웨이트. 웨이트.
Well, looking to make a play on those.
수지 계속 와야 돼. 수지 더 와야 돼.
Going to over curl and leave Japan line shot.
잘했어, 언니 잘했어.
Does leave it look like there is an actual bit of an angle for them to use later.
Yeah, it was interesting though there. They had a long discussion about the ice and what to take. And then eventually, you're in the hack, you know what you think you need. And she's giving me a bit less ice. Because her weight was absolutely perfect there. However, it gives Japan a chance here. If they come in and sit right on top of that yellow, make it very difficult for Korea. See the amount of rotation on this stone. Ideally she wanted to come up and half check and sit on that yellow.
Does that do the job? Does it take away? Can't see all of that yellow.
Yeah, it does the job and it's a deterrent. But there you can see there's enough of the yellow you can see to nick it and get shot.
언니 이걸로 해봐. 그거 딱 다 보여. 나는 내 생각에는.
But even coming in at a back ring weight, you know it finishes there with that weight. You could come in and tap. But by playing that weight, you might leave an easy double in the yellows.
Could you ever try with the outturn to tap the red?
Yep, as we've seen that draw as well, it definitely swings. So there's two options there for them.
그게 범퍼 정도인데 또 봐요. 여기 진짜 뻑뻑하다.
I suppose both options are the same. It's a delicate kind of tap back. So whatever she feels she's happier playing right now. They've got last stone, so ideally she wants to try and generate a two.
근데 이쪽은 거의 안 가서.
나 3초였어.
있게 가요.
Well, both teams have had a shot for two in
가게
their
어디가 더
ends.
좋은데?
여기 이쪽으로.
There's a tap that was missed in that first end.
그럼 여기가 낫다.
Kim Eun-ji
그래. 자신 있게?
앞에
was
맞아.
too heavy with hers.
나 3초였어요.
3초?
응.
Means if she does play this a wee bit heavier and it slightly over curls, at least if you catch the red, you'll move the red, you know, further out of play. Whereas if you just played a canny tap back, you might leave the red lying.
Well, this one won't get past that top guard.
잘했어 언니. 너무 많이 죽는다.
Didn't really give it a chance getting out as far as they needed to get past all those guards.
밀리지 않겠다?
So Japan really in a bit of the same situation. Do they leave that piece of the yellow showing to let her go for that again?
黄色の前にするわ。ちょっと難しそうだよ
Or
ね。
they could come in and even if they nudged their red that's at the top that's just played at the top 8 foot there, they could
ライン重視で
even
2
just have a wee split on that red and it blocks both shots, makes the draw to the button harder and the tap on the yellow.
15までにあれば勝ける。
もうちょっと狭くして。
Kitazawa throwing 4 stones. A different dynamic with the skip playing second, calling the game.
ちょっと甘いから。はつみちゃん、はつみちゃん。ちょっと甘いそうだわ。はつみちゃん。パスもらいたい。
Quite happy to put up the guard and leave that same shot.
Probably the safer of the options, playing that one.
No, I always think in your head, don't leave the same shot twice. And she has just left this tap back, and this is a way for Korea to score too.
이게 맞아. 저것이 97이었어. 2초 97.
If they just pass that top red, canny wait, tap the yellow onto red, and both yellows count. Whereas if that red guard had even drawn more and blocked that side, you're putting her down a different path.
Now, second chance at this one. Past the guard, will it get past the top red? It won't. And it will chip and roll off. And it's a steal of 1, a chance for 2. Not able to come through. And it's a steal of 1 and a lead for Japan after 3 ends. They lead Korea 2-1.
아까는 8대고 지금 10초 3이야. 37초야. 웨이트 차이 올렸다네. なんとか。相手2点取ってきそうだね。なんかずっと攻めてきてるんだよね。中入れ。中だね。打たれたら
6-4で入れたからそれで。
うん。そうだね。6-4だね。狙いの。うん、そうね。まあ3に入っちゃったもんね。
So all singles put up here. Pacific Asia Curling Championship 2019. 2 singles for Japan, 1 via the steal in that 3rd end. Luke Coley here with Rona Howie. And all 8 women's teams in play here, getting on the ice, getting into the championship. How's that for a player? You wait a long time, you practice, and it's the night game on a Saturday. You've been here for a few days, you're finally getting into that competition.
Yeah, all teams want to get going because they come earlier to get over jet lag and you know, have that practice day, and then they want to go, they want to play, and once they're on the ice, that's it. Competition's begun.
First stone in, but it over curls. It's not in a great spot for Japan.
And it is an interesting championships, Pacific Asia Championships. You know, it's growing every year. 64 member associations now in the World Curling Federation. So for this zonal region, it is continuing to grow. But you've got teams that train full time. You know, they've got their dedicated facilities, and then you've got countries playing here who don't even have an ice rink in their country. So, you know, there's that big gulf between performance levels, but it's great to see these nations coming up and taking part.
These two countries will be ones that, in our feature game, that expectation and their objective, their outcome is to be on that podium, to be in that final game.
Absolutely.
Come next Saturday. Be disappointed if they don't. Whereas others, they're trying to maybe get into the playoffs, a 500 record, just gain some experience on the ice. Different.
Yeah, definitely. Different goals for the week. So a bit of deja vu here. Japan have got the one in the house with two guarding it. Korea looking to clear, but you can see a bit of that shot stone. Tempting to come around on the outturn.
Those Japanese stones don't seem that threatening of a position at this stage.
Just bring it down, wait, try and get that top red out. The shooter.
Makes the great little tap and roll over in behind to lie second shot. Look over Kazakhstan, Chinese Taipei, 1-1 game in the third.
Kazakhstan looks as though they're lying one with a chance to score two here. Sutora Aliyarova. I think she's left self line one.
Chance at multiple, and you end up only just getting the one. It's a tough outcome for the young Kazakhstan team. Meanwhile, Japan able to get at that one. They'll get in live 3.
Okay.
It's actually left a nice pocket for Korea to come in and even just tap back and try and get something going here. Just hit it on the nose, and they do lie short.
Hoping to get a miss from Japan.
And hoping Japan could maybe even jam it. If they hit it on the high side, it could jam on the red, but the way that Korea just came in, Japan can follow and just hit it on the nose.
Well, boy, losing their own, just touches it over and moves that one back and gets it out. Or did it? It actually spins back. A bit of a biter in the back for Korea. Well, if you look at the back, it's out and then comes back, and they actually went over and talked to an official just to see, okay, so it went past the back line. Is it out of play then? And it actually spun back. So Rona, it's actually where the stone stops.
Yeah, because the stone was still moving, so although, you know, I suppose when you see it like that, it is definitely in the house, but although it had gone out, the stone was still turning, so it came back in. But the players, you know, in their head, if that's like hitting the side barrier and coming back in, you can't do that. You can't rebound out of play that way and come back. But then that's because you've hit, you know, the barrier. Whereas the back line, you can see at the back of the house, you can still be out the house and still be in play and not be over the black line. So it's just that very bit at the back tee crossing.
It is nibbling, may not come into play, but
it might do. But I think as well, she thought it was going out when she was sweeping it. It was definitely going out.
The hit and roll right after that by the Korean side actually goes to a real nice spot.
A really nice weight. It is behind cover. It's literally just about come out the other side.
Could you play that turn?
Yeah, absolutely. The out turn coming in there. Just need to miss the red top of the 12 foot and you'll get enough curl.
Oh, turn it down, yeah. Yeah, down you are. Yeah.
That's really pulling big. Oh, pushed another red into the rings.
Well, that will all but take away that biter in the back, any possibility of it.
Yeah,
So we're into fourth stones now.
Japan to say, I want that yellow out of there, because we would be lying quite a few. But Korea have got last stone. So Japan really would like to make sure they could force one here or steal.
スリーで？これ当たるならね、赤でこうなりたいから。黄色こうなるとちょっとダブルがあるかも。黄色どの辺だ？ 6？ あれ。黄色7。T。はい、黄色7だよね。黄色 T にある？ ティーオッケー。ティーオッケー。ティーに触ってない。
オッケー。はい、もっとシャークして。もっと。
Ikui Kitazawa just confirming the ice that she wants, her first. We'll get a look at that hog-to-hog time. Early in the game, Rhoda, we saw probably 13.5, 14 this afternoon.
Yeah, 13.5 is pretty good.
That a little heavier. They tried to make something of it, but ends up giving a good angle, and actually something here, a few different options for Korea.
더블을 볼 수 있으면 더블을 먼저 보는 건 별로예요? 더블을 A 보다가 더 떨어지면 그때 롤을 볼게. 근데 더블 보려면 여기 맞아야 돼가지고. 일단은 보자. 보고.
Does give Korea an opening here.
너무 안 나가서 필.
They can catch that on the inside, the right-hand side of that red stone they're looking at.
필? 네. 더블부터예요? 언니? 더블이야 언니? 더블 먼저
Remove the
보자.
other red.
얇게 봐야 되죠?
They could lie too.
필? 많이 있어도 돼? 왜 더 안 나가? 파이팅! 파이팅!
I'll make a nice shot right now. Could set up a chance at 2.
필! 야! 잘 봐, 잘 봐.
Well, get one, make the hit, and we'll just graze off it and roll too far. Fourth shot, just a little too thin.
Yep, just spun out. They upped and they were sweep, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And I think they thought they don't want to lose it. You could have actually caught it thinner and got a better result. I think they were caught in between. Because when it catches it too thick, do you up and just get the roll rather than removing the second one from play? But they'd committed really to go for the double, so she was very close.
Small opening was there. Closed now and can be shut if Kitazawa can lock this one on.
Has it got the weight to get there? Oh, just rubbed off the top.
But actually rolls. Shot stone just gets far enough. See the players cleaning some of that frost and the snow that builds up on the broom heads after a sweep.
This is when the faithful hog hair brushes are useful when it's frosty.
나가게? 어떻게 나가게? 인정?
지금 노즈는 안 되잖아. 얘 걸려서.
딱 될 것 같긴 한데.
어려울 것 같아요, 언니.
아, 안 되는구나.
그러니까
그냥 언니가 말한 대로 보는 게
이렇게
좋은 것 같아.
각을 이렇게 가자고 차라리.
웨이트 로마라? 분해해야 될 것 같은데?
얘 안 나가니까 편하게 해.
물리지.
In Korea are looking at this, their yellow's fairly safe in there because it's going to jam on the back red if they make contact. They just need to make sure the red that they're pushing back
A가 뭔데 그러면?
splits off
얇은
the
거야?
yellow.
얇게.
슈터 살리는 한에서.
얇게 보는 게 좋지.
보자. 반 맞춰.
필러
Look fairly close to the nose that you need this.
길이 날 것 같아, 길이.
Just off center.
아, 근데 슈터 살긴 해야 되는데 슈터 때문에. 언니 슈터 살까? 얇아도? 필인데.
Ideally, she would like to just clip
파이팅.
that yellow
지금 필이에요?
on the left as we're looking at it there. And the shooter can roll into the house, into the rings. And just go to.
So final stone, fourth end. just wants to graze that other yellow. And we'll move it far enough to the shooter stick. It won't, it's going to roll too far. But they do get one.
잘했어 언니.
One yellow.
Couldn't hold the shooter.
Yeah, that one really pulled big on them.
됐어.
Tried to hold it.
제발. 안 살아? 안 살아. 아이스가
So
조금
another single point.
사이드 쪽에 죽길 바랬거든.
Almost two,
아 이거는
but it's only one, and we're all square. 2-2 after 4.
스위핑하고 옆으로 다 빼줘야 돼.
잘 던졌어야지.
잘했어. 계속 여유 있게 쳐야 될 것 같아요.
아니 계속이 아니라 더 여유 있게 점점 더 여유 있게.
점점 더 여유 있게 쳐야 돼요.
파이팅.
파이팅.
시간 많아.
4대
네.
동점이죠?
今日の試合を見てさ、ちょっと氷変えてくれればいいけどね、明日から。
いやもうこれ以上変わらないと思う。もう設備が。
限界か。
そう。もう霜は絶対何も
何だったんだろうね、男子45秒。
5、6台ないと。除湿機があと5、6台ないと。ね、新しく導入してもらって。5、6台でも足りてないかも。ここが大寒波来ないと。でも増設しないとダメか。それだわ。やめて、仕事思い出しちゃうから。増設しないと。ダメか。じゃあ今すぐには入れられないわ。そうだな。
高知店さんも呼ばなきゃ。
半年以上かかりそうだな。その設備だ。
小学校。
좀 넘어가도 돼. 좀 더. 그 세이비야.
You're watching coverage of our feature game, Japan taking on Korea from the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2019. Live from Shenzhen Universiade Sports Center, Shenzhen, China.
Okay, that's right.
It's currently a 2-2 game. All singles. There's the one steal by Japan in that third end. Luke Coley here with Rona Howie. And Japan has the hammer as we play this fifth end. So we see centerline guard to start off, and then the draw to the wings.
Yeah, and the draw to the wing and not even the guard. You would think by that Japan are, if they get their two, fair enough, but if they blank the fifth, they're going into the second half of the game with the hammer controlling the even ends.
Look in China, Hong Kong once again, fourth end. What does China have? They have the lead. Are they able to extend their lead?
Hang Yu just looking to hit this yellow and score two, but it just rolled fractionally out there. Very close to see who's second shot. It's a definite one for China.
And it is so a 4-2 China lead, just the one. Oh, a real big sweep there to hold that one. Get to the nose. Line 2.
언니 10! 10! 아니면 이렇게! 스테이!
So Japan sitting in a nice spot early on here in this end.
근데 앞에 거안 나갈 가능성이 있어.
Yeah, that was a really nice shot. Japan just played a tap back and they control the top of the house. So Korea now thinking we need to hit this one at the back. that didn't do what was supposed to do, hitting the one at the back.
Well, it was about this time earlier in the men's first session where catch some of that frost. You start to see him curl a little bit more.
Oh, they're looking a bit hot, trying to fan themselves, cool themselves down. For the sweepers, it's very warm out there.
Probably much warmer than they're used to in different curling facilities. Tina Nakajima electing to, okay, let's peel that center line guard. Clears that off. The reason thinking that, Rona?
Yeah, so that centre line guard was the only stone that could cause them trouble at this end. As I say, they're quite happy. If they get their two, fair enough, but if they blanket, go into the fifth end break, and then they can come back and control the second half by scoring in the even ends. That was their only danger stone.
Well, unable to make that double or even the hit and roll in front. Make up for her first shot miss. Wide open flash.
So now Japan can split the house and everything's wide open. Whereas if they'd got into a guddle behind that centre guard, it could have been worse for them. So they'll be quite happy. They've opened it up, just split the house, play a simple open end. And sometimes, look, you know, when the ice is tricky like this and frosty and different weights, it's just playing the simple game well that makes the difference. Your basic hits and draws, and keep it simple.
Well, and keeping it simple, that one goes right through. Trying to figure out that path. Sometimes they haven't been thrown, they'll be a little bit slower. Maybe in your mind, give it a little bit more, and it goes right through. As you watch the game, you see that numerous times. Well, looks like a two is pretty well set up. Well, that goes away with just one miss.
So an empty house.
Haven't seen a lot of these. That one was looking like a two was well set up, and a couple missed shots, and nothing in play. Now the blank looks like a possibility.
And that one just hangs on and no more. Must be a bit faster, that path down the side. It's foxing them a wee bit.
Will it speed up with a couple stones in the same path?
Yes, definitely. When we've got the frost like that and then a lot of stones go down the same path, then that path will get keener. And if you just move slightly out that path, you then hit the frost. So if you're starting, and that's where when you start out in the frost, but you're coming into a keen path when it draws, it's being able to judge that weight of what you need to play. So you've got to be constantly thinking, constantly communicating with each other. as well.
暑いけどズボンとかもうひどいことになってるけど
And vice versa, you could start in a really keen path and then you're going into frost, so you need more weight when it goes into the frost.
And playing these hits, able to make that hit. Back part of the rings. Being back 12 foot makes a little difference. It's got about another 6 feet to curl than you normally do playing in the middle of the rings.
Certainly plenty of rotation on these stones.
Wide open house here in this fifth end. Kim Eun-ji, which turn do you want? Which way do you want to play? She's elected to go with the in-turn. And Kitazawa will look to play the blank.
When they play through this end quite quickly, it also banks a wee bit of time in your clock. Each team has got 38 minutes of thinking time to play the 10 ends. It's up to them how they manage that time.
So last stone of the fifth end, this to blank and retain the hammer. Keep it a 2-2 score, just like that, through the house. Japan and Korea, two countries winning medals last year, trying to start off this year's championship with a win. We're all tied up, 2 apiece into the fifth end break. First end here, our feature game, Japan and Korea. Kim Eun-ji, opportunity, try and get 2, has to make the perfect angle tap. Try and tap this one. Perfect angle, perfect weight. Doesn't have the line. And it goes too far, right through, just too heavy. Korea gets the early lead. On the third, very tough tap here. You got to just get by that red stone in the top. Or try and move that red stone back and score 2. And this one will over curl, catch that one top of the house, and it's going to be the steal of 1 for Japan in end number 3. But back in the fourth, another chance for a score here. Kim Eun-ji trying to hit, just clip this yellow one to score 2. They thought they were close, but the shooter rolls too far. And it is 1 for Korea to tie the game up. And that's where we stand in the fifth end break. China leads Hong Kong in their fifth end, while Chinese Taipei doubling up Kazakhstan 4-2, and Australia 5-2 lead over Qatar on sheet D.
하우스에 들어가도 되니까 괜찮다고.
Too long. They're not afraid of it. But bring it closer to it.
Okay.
More weight on takeout. Keep it simple. Guard closer.
지금 다행히 심플하게 가지고 왔으니까 지금부터 어차피 똑같아. 선후만 바뀌었으니까 지금부터 또 단순하게 하면 돼. 지금 내가 봤을 때는 지금 8핸드만 기점으로 맞춰서 7, 8핸드만 좀
情報が多ければ多いほどね。相手はしっかり持ってる割にはさ、向こう行く間もないからさ、もうね、こう来てる。なんか曲がったと思ったけど、もうさっきのさ、来たら間に合わないから話してっていうようなのがあるから、まあそういうのもやっぱテイク中。そうだね。だからさっきの9秒もさ、やっぱり曲がり始めてからさ、意外ともう芯まで来るかなみたいなところにいたのがさ、芯まで超えたとかもあるから、やっぱりその辺の今ずっとクリーンしてるから、ああいうの大事ですよ。
Look in Australia, Qatar, 5-2,
Back 8.
playing in the fifth end. Very close of who is shot.
Yeah, Lauren Wagner just
Whoa,
trying to get to the button here.
Whoa! Clean, clean, clean.
She has got the yellow
You
that
tick in.
she can come up to, but this is looking wide and heavy.
And they're looking maybe to get a little bit of a chip, but
Just a bit much. Sorry, guys.
too heavy.
One yellow.
And it is one for Qatar, so 5-3 after 5 ends.
If we peel it, we get the other 2. You know what I mean?
So we sit 2-2, blank fifth. All singles there. And here's how we got to this point. Overall percentage, Japan leading Korea 79-60. Draw percentage, again advantage Japan there, 79-66. Hit percentage, 77. Korea at 54%. That one stolen point coming in the third. All singles and a blank fifth means a 2-2 score. Second half of this first women's session. One men's session was earlier today. As the round robin will play, determine Pacific Asia champions. So far this one, 2-2 is our score. Luke Ola here with Rona Howie, and kind of fitting, we finished last year with Japan against Korea in the final. And this year's championship starts off with the same two nations facing off against one another.
Yep, and potentially they could be facing each other come the end of the week as well. Both these teams really want that gold medal this week. They want to qualify for the Worlds.
So, corner guard goes out. So Yoon, 68% on the game. Well, it's all these setup shots, trying to position yourself early. Hasumi Ishiguka, 88%.
Vital position of the lead, setting up the ends.
Touch the guard. And with the free guard zone rule, they can't remove any opponent's stones in the first 5. Jets kind of fortunate they clip off their own, so they don't have to pull their stone and put it back into a center line position. Kim Soji, 63%.
계속 와야 돼. 계속 와야 돼. 들어오긴 해야 돼. 계속.
Trying to work it to get it over, and they will hog this stone.
Yeah.
Comes up short.
굿세이브다, 굿세이브. 미안해, 언니. 굿세이브. 옷이 자꾸 올라와. 이러고.
Chance now for Japan. They've got last stone. They can use this cover. Try and get something going here.
Sina Nakajima, 75%.
Did get behind cover, but would have preferred it slightly further back, so this run back wasn't as easy.
Nice little run back. Leaves Korea line 2.
Looking for the inside row here. Just hits it on the nose.
내 쪽이었네?
아니 스테이야.
아, 오케이. 어우 씨.
Minji.
많이 했다. 진짜 많이 했다.
Her first of the second half of the game. Makes the hit, rolls over, and will leave a couple of biters.
네,
73% for Chiaki Matsumura.
Trying to get behind the double cover here.
This didn't look like it had a chance to get around. Tap that yellow one fully into the 12-foot. Center line's open, so another good chance here to draw around. Really put the pressure on Team Japan.
So want to leave this top tee so that Japan can't freeze it.
Real good sweep to get that one around and get it just biting 4-foot.
언니 이거 보여?
Japan know they're in a bit of trouble now. Try and run this red back and at least open the house.
Yeah, angles, none of them look real natural for Japan. Doesn't get any angle as they catch that Yellowstone.
그거 안 보여.
이쪽에 이렇게?
좀 센터 쪽으로. 좀 센터 쪽 볼래? 센터? 센터 가자면 상대 컴인데? 아니, 센터 쪽. 얘 가리자고. 아니면 나 그냥 하우스에 들어가자.
어디로?
어때? 이렇게?
그래요?
왜냐면은 차라리 약한 거보다는 차라리 들어오는 게 여기 가서 다섯도 괜찮고.
A가 어디야 그래서?
6.
어디 잡아줘요?
7.
여기?
너 6 잡았거든, 민지야?
좀
더 잡았어.
잡아볼까요?
어디야? 6. 다섯도 괜찮아.
6? 어때? 6에서 7? 좋아.
일단
B
6.
플랜이 5이야.
6 가자.
파이팅?
몇이었어? 민지 언니 74.
So Korea sitting in a pretty good spot as we see Kim Chi
63?
struggling in the game at 38%. Just straight guard, or do you try and come around?
Yeah, they're lying really well in there. But you know,
Here's that curl. Can they hold it?
they wanted just to be half around that red, so it was difficult for Japan to use the red and also block the draw at the same time.
소리.
Her weight wasn't too far away, it just really cut the end. You can see there the red raising up doesn't really help Japan hugely. Gonna have to just try and come round here into the forefoot. And she might have to draw with her last stone, so it's an opportunity to see the line, see the weight down here.
Make sure on her next it's not a guess. It's a pretty knowledgeable spot.
11半ぐらい。結構広いもんね。はすみちゃんかな。最後ほぼ超えたら千秋さん。そうだね。
Kui Kitazawa.
レイヨーくれー。少し余りそうだ。あれいよ。ウェイトが高そうだよ。まだだ。ちょっと待ってろ。
Plenty of rotation on it. To cope with the curl. Has it got the weight to sit down? No, it doesn't.
It just keeps going and going. Sits for second, but again, a chance where you really need to make a good curling shot. You can't come out with a full shot.
언니 지금 릴리즈면 5로 가. 그지? 지금 릴리즈면 5로 가는 게 좋을 것 같아. 언니 지금 계속 릴리즈 이렇게 해가지고 그냥 우리가 초를 올리는 게 나을 것 같아. 내가 알아서 테니까 웨이트만 봐줄게. 오케이. 지금 63이었어? 닦아! 가야 돼! 8! 닦아! 9! 좋아! 8! 9! 지금 많이 세면
Well, played the draw on her first. Got another chance now for a NT Gim.
진짜 세! 세, 제발. 11 괜찮아. 이 앞에다 쓰면 돼.
Goes down to lie.
세가지고 갈 수가
Second
없어.
shot, back of the 8 foot.
그렇지. 언니 몇인데? 계속 이렇게 차이야. 그러게. 내가 좀 뒤에서 되나 지금?
Rona, are these sometimes a tough spot because you know you can come to the backing and cut it down? Or do you just want to play the straight cold draw?
Yeah, you've got to think, just drawing the forefoot. Go for the cold draw. You've got backing if you require it, but you don't want to think about that. The sweepers just have it in their head that that's available. But as a thrower, you want to sit in the hack just knowing you're drawing the forefoot.
And a piece of forefoot is what's needed. Kitazawa.
Again, very positive release. A lot of rotation on this stone.
オッケー、もうバック4 11.8。ラインは大丈夫そう。大丈夫だ。
And look at that. No problem whatsoever. Right to the forefoot. Japan able to score one more. And now they have the lead again by one. 3-2. We're through 6 ends of play.
얘들아, 우리 버스 타고 다니자.
언니.
ないとこって
でも外からクリーンしてれば曲がって落ちそう、ウェイトが。
オッケー。
ウェイト早かったら外からクリーンしてもらえば。
オッケー。撫でるだけでこの。
うん、やばいね。
1点取らせだね。
そうだね、7エンド目だもんね。
フランクなれば。
フランクはちょっと微妙だね。
うん。
Seventh end. Japan lead 3-2 after a great draw to the forefoot by Kitazawa.
13.4。
Wanted to keep that in the free guard zone. Slips into the rings. Korea now going to look to put up their corner guards, try and get something generated at this end. That's a great corner guard, good positioning. Asumi Ishiguka just guarding the red in the rings. And that's where ideally her first one would have been biting the forefoot. Korea can see enough of this to make a play on it.
They just can't remove that stone. Doesn't quite.
That's where the frost does help.
It's the perfect split.
Absolutely. Great shot.
That's why I was surprised they threw so much weight, that if they did that, very lucky it didn't hit the boards. Because it gets put back, your stone gets pulled.
ぎそうだ。あ、ちょっと流れすぎそう。入ったとこでいいよ。ちょっと前すぎる。
止まってるわ。
Japan quite happy just to replace the guard. See the one in the house
15.1。
isn't really going to cause any problems for Korea. They can outdraw that quite easily at the end of the end.
Let's jump over and see Australia, Qatar. 5-3 the score in the 6th end.
Lauren Wagner. Remove this yellow stone lying short in the 4-foot. Score 2. Does jam the back, but it is a score of 2. So Australia extend their lead in that game, 7-3.
We'll slide right to the middle sheet. Sheet C, China leading Hong Kong 7-2.
Hung Ling Yu. Chance to score a couple back here. Oh, all good out to sweep here. Just needs to be fully or just biting the rings. It's come up short. Opportunity lost for a 3. Just a score of 2 for Hong Kong.
I hate to lose those points by the routine shots. Just the draw hit the paint.
The bread and butter shots, we call them, of curling. Just draw the rings. Anywhere will do.
Well, in between rolls, it sits top of the 8-foot.
ちょっと早くてもいい。ちょっとだけあ。ちょっと早くなっちゃってもいい。8年半くらいの気持ちで投げるけど。
Japan would like to roll either way here. Get in behind cover, ideally towards the centre. Just jams off that red that hung in earlier on, and it does lie short.
Yeah, and it does look like it is actually touching those boards, but both teams were looking at it at that time, and it just rolls over beside. Korea not too worried there. They're going to try and, again, generate offense.
Yep, they've got 2 guards out front. May as well try and use them. It's a good line here.
Really seeing the weight come down on that.
So decided to go for the run back. Try and lift both yellows here.
Oh, they missed the run back. Roll in, looks like just for a shot.
So Korea can't afford to nose this. They need to roll in to lie 2.
Minji
Was it enough? I don't know.
Tough to say, and actually, if it is it out counting that red one?
かっこいい微妙
Indicated they had to roll in. So I don't know if it is shot or not. Their second shot anyway.
でもそれより入ればいいんでしょ、そうだね、早いやつで、まあ早かったらここで
Either way, I
ロー
think
ルすると思う
Japan need to go for the hit and roll here.
8から7後半ぐらい
Now they have lots of rings to roll to. You can roll short, you can roll big to the other side.
8? トップ8から7半ぐらい、
Yeah, they just need to watch they don't catch the inside of it to get a rollover jam, but don't actually roll behind cover and then roll to open. And then if they've jammed, then it's an opportunity for Korea to lie 3. They just need to be a wee bit cautious. A lot of rotation in this one.
You see that from Kitazawa when she throws those hit weights. Definitely big weight and lots of rotation to try and keep it extra straight.
More so in her out turn as well. Definitely run straighter at the bigger weight when it's got that amount of rotation. See the time remaining. I just said earlier they had 38 minutes of thinking time.
Almost 3 minutes, or just over 3 minutes difference between the two sides.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. But they've just got 3 ends to play, so both teams have ample time to think in the last 3 ends.
But we'll keep an eye if it gets down to it late in the game. Rolls on, lies 2. In position to try and get first deuce of the game.
あ、いけそう。ちょっとロレになっても。そうだね。ロレでも、ここでも、これはダメだ。あれより勝たなきゃいけないから。そうだね。소리가 다시 안 올라와. 우린 소리가 계속. 그래서 그런 거 같아.
Trying to line up angles. Can they jump it across? Make the roll behind.
場所的にはダブルもいけそうなぐらいまで見えてはいる。ダブルいけると思うんだけど。力がね。乗っちゃった。
Holding a 1-point lead. Kitazawa trying to hit and roll in, but will nose hit it. Meaning, you said earlier, the routine shots to score the second point here in end number 7.
네. 오, 좋아.
예은이 들어오가 몇이야?
나 들어오 몇이었어?
안 했지 여기?
아, 안 했네. 가드였네.
근데 완방만.
그래, 나는 한 5 해야 돼, 나는.
파이팅?
Great chance to try and score 2. Be
가져. 계속 가. 언니 그냥 가야 돼.
good with the hammer. Something that can win you a lot of games.
진짜 가야 돼. 이날씩 가야 돼. 진짜 가야 돼.
계속 예은아 그냥 가. 멈추지 마.
Just trying to keep this one honest. Right down into the rings. And there it is, the first deuce of the game. And Korea off their first lead back of the game. All the way since the first end when they took the early lead. They now have it back. As we are through 7 ends, 4-3. Korea leads.
저쪽으로 갈까?
やばいね。물 봐. 지금 몇 엔드야? 8엔드.
안 나갈 것 같아. 라인 더 잡아서 닦아와 그냥. 언니 진짜 안 나갈 것 같아. 계속.
Welcome back. Our continuing coverage of the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2019.
괜찮아. 거기까지 놓아.
Real good look overhead as they come flying out of the hack to deliver these stones. It's been a while since Korea has had the lead all the way back. And they had the 1-0 lead after the first end. First 2 of the game. Goes on the bottom side to lead 4-3. Luke Coley here with Rona Howie. Both sides still looks like they're getting comfortable underneath in the setting, in the environment that they're playing in right now.
Yeah, we've just seen a few errors from both sides creeping in. As you say, just getting used to the ice and the fact that it is changing as the game's going on. They're just getting used to these conditions.
14.1.
So 2 guards out in front. And Roni, you played in many events, Worlds, Olympics, things like that. As we look at the numbers advantage, Ishiguka over Seoul, 77 to 63%, the low hit numbers for the Korean lead. And that point, Rona, is just at these events early on, do you want to play one of the other contenders, or say a lesser team, someone that sort of eases you into the competition a little bit?
No, I think it's always good to play one of your biggest rivals early on. Because as we said earlier, it's likely that these 2 teams could meet at some point in the latter stages this week. I always think it's good to play your bigger rivals early doors. And even better if you manage to win on the board.
Well, both sides even as far as it comes with knowledge of the ice surface, what it's doing.
Very well swept.
Pretty calm until a little late panic, worrying that they might touch it. That's a real nice shot going out to the wide side.
They're just trying to come around. Left another guard. So not easy for Japan to clear all the front. Do they just come round? Or do they go for the clearing at this stage?
Well, how much gets into the strategic play now at this stage of the game? You're looking the 8th end, you have 2-to-1 hammers, you're down by 1. Some would say even if you score 1, you're in a pretty good position. That leads me to think that they're happy doing that by peeling the front.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, but they don't want to take the guard off. I was going to say I nearly removed the one in the house. Yeah, that was nice round there behind the corner guard. Unfortunately, they've removed the guard.
comparison of the seconds. 75 to 66. Favor Japan at the second position. Kim Soo-ji. Back and forth we go, trading shots.
You can see the sweepers scraping the frost off their brushes after they've had a sweep.
13。13でちょっと遅いまだ。12半。あ、そうだね。12半。
And all the players with those synthetic broom heads, there's no hair brooms anymore out there that used to be used a lot within the frost.
Yeah, the hog hair brushes were definitely more effective in the frost. So Japan coming round, trying to force an error out of Korea here. Really nice come around.
See the distance that they curl, those longer guards go right around everything. These are the type of shots we're used to seeing. You make the come around. All right, now we got to answer you back and play this run back. Oh, real close. Look at that. Do they stick the shooter? Not quite. Curls up a fraction. Another perfect shot.
And it's also moved that second guard out a bit. That if they come around here, there could be a gap between the guards this time. So if this pokes out the other side, they could come around to it in the outturn. It's swinging so far, it's just coming out, just about coming out the second guard. Wow. That's a big finish.
That is a lot of curl. Advantage on the Korean side at the third position. Advantage both draws and hits at the big swing. 66 to 86. And Korea's going to call a timeout. Talk about this one. Do you ignore it now? Do you play the run back?
Yeah, it's quite a key point in the game for them at the 8th end. They are lying short.
지금 12초 때거든? 뭐가 좋을까요?
커브라운드. 편하게 해. 지금 저쪽 아이스는 웬만하면 사용하지 마. 저기 완전 테라볼이야.
그래서 릴리즈도 가.
인정하고 자신 있게 하고 좀 상황적으로 하고 지금 일단은 웨이트를 넉넉하게 좋다. 오케이?
여기
1반 1군인데 만약에 9 올 바에는 11까지 빼버리자.
아니야.
어떻게? 이것보다 만약 세면 어떻게? 지금 거기 딱 못 맞추잖아.
Pretty clear instructions.
얘기해줘, 여기까지 괜찮으니까.
네.
2번은 돼야 돼.
네.
2번은.
And not a lot of time wasted with that timeout.
언니 상대랑 길 똑같아요? 길 똑같아요?
상대랑 똑같아.
And each team have those reasons for calling their timeout. Some will use it to save time. Some will use it at this point, a key strategy point. Not sure.
상대 12초 7? 6. 12초 6.
The coach have a pretty clear decision for some teams.
파이팅.
That was the case here. Come around. Now, Rona, do they come right down to it?
No, I don't think so, because
살짝 타이트해.
if there's a chance to come too deep, then Japan could hit and roll off the other one over towards it. So ideally they want to leave it just
기다려, 나갈 것 같아.
the 4-foot level with their other yellow.
Well, this one has to catch that frost, catch the curl.
죽어라.
Called the timeout, throws a rocket down the ice, and It'll barely hang on to the back of the 12-foot.
아니야, 잘 던졌어.
So now how the opportunity has turned around, and Japan now have an opportunity to lie too.
8後半。
軽く2点でもいいと思う。
いいか
だったら9秒。
9秒
9、OK。
何秒欲しい
8後半。
8後半
まあ9でいいね。
So Japan would like a roll here. They don't want to nose this and leave the roll easier for Korea. We could roll either way here.
Keeping their weight up. They don't want to have this one over curl. Next roll to lie 2. And China leading Hong Kong 7-4.
And lying 1, they have an opportunity here for 2. And you also got some backing that she can use. This is curling really fast.
And when we've seen that, they haven't had success.
And catches the top guard, so it's just a score of 1 for China. But they extend their lead to 8-4.
Keeping you up to date, Kazakhstan 9-4 up on Chinese Taipei.
Chinese Taipei have got 3 counters in there. So an opportunity to score 4. Lin Heidi.
Well, and just before it was a steal of 4 by Kazakhstan to put them up. This, look at all the
Well,
yellow.
it's for a 5. Oh, there we go, just like that.
All tied up at 9 for a handful.
Back to square one.
Back to square 1, that's right.
It's a 3-end game now over on sheet D.
13前半私でちょっとさっきよりは吐かないけど吐いてはいるから
So now a great opportunity for Japan with that hit and roll out from Korea. Can bring a second one round behind cover.
And anywhere but deep, right?
Yes. But this looks steamy.
They'll go all the way back and use the backing. As we see the fourth stone numbers. Advantage Kitazawa, 79-50, but on the scoreboard it's a Korean lead by 1. It's not how many, it's which ones you make.
So now a chance for Korea to kill the end for Japan. They can get behind the cover, lie shot. They saw how that Japanese redstone got there, passing the top guard and then swinging a long way.
Hey, seeing the extra cleaning here, does this have an impact on the frost necessarily?
Yeah, they can really see the frost building up now, and you can just see them scraping it away virtually with the brush to get rid of it. And if it does get really deep there, you know, the frost, it can really make a difference to the stone coming in. The people seem quite happy.
Need to get shot stone out of this. Try and get it just to bite the 4-foot. And they will get shot stone. Absolutely beautiful shot. Crucial time.
Can now Japan come through the guards on the out turn? Can they see enough?
Might be worth a shot at this point, but depends what their objective in the end was. If it was to try and score, then you draw.
Yeah, she's decided just to go for the dead draw. And that's where with the last stone with Japan, if she'd been anywhere top of the the tee line, it would have made Korea's job a lot harder. Whereas now it's put the pressure back on Japan.
13.1?
うん、13.1 だった。
13だね。
そうだよ。
Well, that's what needs to outcount. That one top of the 8-foot, so virtually a piece of the 4-foot.
She'll be conscious that she was heavy with her last one.
Tough ones to judge.
Oh dear.
I'm not sure if they burnt the stone or not. As it'll slide down, it was too deep anyways. Keeping a close eye, but it's going to be a steal. So another point for Korea. You see them doing more work on the ice. As it is now a 2-point lead with 2 ends remaining, 5-3. Korea leading Japan after 8.
アクセントはしょうがない。びっくりした。しょうがないわ。どっちもどっちだと思うけどね。
이거 너무 센 거 같은데 아니야? 수지만 먼저 갈게. 와 수지야 와 수지는 와. 괜찮을 것 같아 언니. 열하나. 안돼.
2 ends remaining now here in our feature game, Korea against Japan. Luke Coley here with Rona Howie in the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2019. We're inside the Shenzhen Universiade Sports Center. And it's all about how you miss on shots. The first stone by Ikui Kitazawa was deep. If she would have been on the other side of the house, the top part of the house, 2 or even 3 as a possibility. Instead, the draw was heavy and it's a steal of 1. You see the long corner guard out in front. After the first stone goes back 8 foot.
많이 했어. 르만 먼저 갈게. 기다려. 여섯. 7. 7이면 오자. 6. 베이트만. 라인 좀 루미야. 좀만 더. 다. 이러면 기다릴 거야. 구스일이야. 미안.
아니야 언니. 저희가 못했어.
Our first final goes on into the books, a 12-4 China win over Hong Kong. So the host country with a good first win. Always nice to get that first W in the win column. Well, now down 2 points. We talked about it earlier. Seeing some of the frost buildup becomes more and more difficult to make these precise shots when you need them and generate offense late in the game.
많이 루미야 지금은. 웨이트. 진짜 루미 이기네. 라인 좋아요. 라인 좋아. 셋. 와. 넷. 넷. 왜 이렇게 떨어지냐? 미안. 굿샷. 끝. 주지야 오히려 넉넉했어. 많이 떨어진다.
네, 이게 더 심한 것 같아.
Well, Korea line 2, both on the center line. There are some guards for Japan to use.
11から11半。前になっても。
11から13。
Ideally, Japan just want to remove the one that's top 12, keep their shooter in play.
やっぱ11。11半。クリーン、イエス。11半。クリーン。はつみちゃん。はつみちゃん。クリーン、クリーン、イエス、イエス、イエス、イエス。
Just rubs off the top one. Still does make contact, but not enough weight to remove it.
수지야 이것도 괜찮아. 민지 언니 쪽이요? 오케이. 오케이.
Kim So-ji trying to make this hit, looking to roll it in a little bit. Will lie 3.
이제 나와야 돼. 안 나오면 시간이 안 멈춰 얘들아. 난 나갔다きはすると思う.今と同じウェイト. 前になっても.
Roan, is it necessary to remove them, or is it try and maybe even use them to your advantage, leaving those stones in play?
Yeah, they don't need to remove them, they just need to tap back the ones that are controlling the top of the house.
Getting just the worst possible outcome on some of these. You see the chip, you don't remove any stones.
Yeah, Japan, just the last couple of ends have just seemed confused by what's happening. They just need to keep communicating and, you know, they're only 2 down. They just need to start making these shots to put the pressure on Korea. And there's another one round.
More and more pressure, facing 4. And we'll slide back over Kazakhstan, Chinese Taipei, 9-9. Back and forth.
Yeah, Kazakhstan are lying 1. They have a chance here to score 2. Satora Aliyarova. Kazakhstan skip. Drawing for 2. Needs to be fully in the 8 foot. She has got backing. And uses that backing to her advantage and scores 2.
So 11-9 after 8 ends of play.
Japan looked at the hit and roll and then they decided to go for the draw. But that was a must-make draw.
Well, going aggressively to try and score that 2, but could be facing 5 here right away. A Minji. Plan B to try and punch that one through the hole. And they'll lie 4.
One good come around here from Japan.
同じかちょっと早めの方がいい
That's all that's needed.
入ってるわ OK いやー8 7ライオンクレーンライオン大佐大輔ライオンクレーンベイちゃんでいいよベイちゃんでそのままライオン一発でライオンクレーンクレーン
Well, they seem to like this one.
Unlucky it slid back T, but the important thing was that it came round and it was shot and it was buried.
And you're trying to be so precise, but now Korea has to match that. They are off by a little bit. It's good enough to try and get your 2.
땡거보다 약한 거. 그냥 땡기면 좀 잡히지 않아? 밀리 9? 네. 몇 정도 하면 될까? 5반, 6반? 화이팅! 웨이트만 봐도 가능할게. 네. 웨이트! 가져. 밀리지 않게. 웨이트! 웨이트! 너무 가야 좋아, 웨이트! 진짜. 화이팅! 계속 가! 화이팅! 웨이트! 야!
So looking to come in and sit on top of that Japanese counter.
마크 벌어져도 되니까 계속 가! 푸시.
Over curls, comes up short. Still, Japan lies that crucial single point. Right now, try and set up for more.
Yeah, and there's a fairly easy angle across for Korea on their own yellow if they can get through the gap in the guards. And Japan know that. They need to bring a second counter right round here. You can see there that yellow. It's between the guards. That's a fairly straightforward run back for Korea onto the red. So ideally Japan want to bring a second one right in on top.
遊びで曲げたいんだったら曲げられはすると思う。
それはいけそう。下だから目がつくから。
どう？一緒でいく？
それいいかな。
オッケー。ベトンまあそこの方が一緒かもしれない。
ちょっと外だと逆に曲がってきちゃう。
オッケー。
チェック何ですか？12.8？
3？12.3。
1投目が12.8。あ、違う。今12半だった。12半。
あ、
今12半。
12後半ぐらい。
そうだよ。
Well, keep an eye on the time as well. Players are always keeping a close eye on it with their stopwatches. Gotta keep this one moving to hook it around. That one comes down top of the button.
Pretty good effort, isn't it? It's ideally, say they probably want it a fraction further in. Can Korea see enough of it to play on it? They're having a look from the hack to see what they can see. Because even if they're likely to jam one red onto the other, but even if they remove one from play, Korea would be happy with that. They're 2 up. So if they can even remove one here, if they lose a 2, their Peel's playing the last with the hammer. So a good position to be in. Still like coming through the gap and raising the yellow in. Get shot.
Higher risk with involved that one.
Oh, got to take a few risks now and again.
Absolutely. Last without the hammer. Korea leading 5-3. Gets rid of the 1, spills the other out. The draw by Matsumura was good enough. Kitazawa's first was good. Really forced the pressure onto the Japanese, or pardon me, to the Korean side. They couldn't come through with their shot. And looking like opportunity to tie this game up.
나 앞에서 땀 냄새 나는 거.
And then they'll try and be thieves in the 10th end. So final stone here, this 9th end.
So she's just played down this line. Knows the weight, knows the line.
Right down to their own. No panic, no worry whatsoever by the Japanese side. No problem, just draw for our 2. We're all square here on day 1 Pacific Asia Curling Championship. 5-5, heading to 10 Japan and Korea.
今の 12.6。
あ、一緒だね。
だって。1かな 1?
Pretty even matchup between Japan and Korea. No surprise between these two rival nations. Japan will try and set up the 2 centerline guards, and that one will stop just shy. They'll take a look. And it is in the ring, so just a little too deep.
Yeah, these are the must-make shots when you come into a 10th end and you need to steal. You need to put the guards up. Their only saviour is with the 5-drop rule. They've got an extra stone.
Well, rolling to the center line actually helps out Japan a bit.
Yeah, that can be used as a guard later in the end. The only benefit for Korea is they can use it to raise up. But there's a long way to go.
Try and get these early guards placed.
We saw this track earlier on, coming down here 2 ends ago, and it was definitely a bit keener down here.
14.9.
And that one over curls, exposing that Yellowstone. Thought you might see Korea just
Taking their own.
could take their own tie game. Try and keep it simple.
Oh, interesting.
Goes tap, tap, and leaves that Yellowstone in there as shot stone. That red one on the center line. Game on.
Yeah, Japan will be. Oh, we've got 2 guards up already.
15、15、15。15で、は？伸ばさしそう。まだね、ちょっとね、最後止まるときだった。
Yeah, Japan just have to keep putting up with his long guards and try and force Korea to be peeling that long one, and then they know now they've got 2 guards there they could use.
ちょっと伸びやすいかも。いいはー、ちょっと近いな。はい、じゃあ千秋さんがクリーンから。うん。2。2は。 めっちゃ良さそうだよ。止まってきたわ。
回転が。14.5。
Another one will go into the books. A victory. Australia defeats Qatar 12-3. Final in that one. We are in the 10th end of our feature game. Japan and Korea. And we'll clear those two centerline guards. Rolls in that red Japanese stone. It's shot stone at the moment.
Yeah, this is where stone placement's so important. You know, Japan just came too far, left that double opportunity in the guards. So ideally they want to leave this a high centre guard, and they've got the one close to the house already. Pretty good there.
And Rhoda, do they go aggressively to catch the one on the side, or just make sure the peel?
No, just looking for the peel right now. If they remove that one, it's a bonus, but it's not a worry for them.
So nose, and leave the guards in play.
So now Japan could make the come around right now while there's two guards out front, and then just guard for the rest of the end.
It's a big mistake. So we're halfway through this 10th end. Perfect spot if Japan went down and actually like placed this where they wanted.
Yeah, they need to be basically top of the button. You get this one chance to come around and play that perfect game-winning shot. Line looks okay, it's all about the weight. It just biting the top button is perfect, but that's pretty good there.
Kazakhstan, Chinese Taipei.
Chinese Taipei line 2, an opportunity to score 3.
This has been a seesaw match.
So on the wide side, catches off the red guard. They do still score their 2 though. So.
All tied up?
All tied up. 11 all.
There's been 2 threes in that game, a 4 and a 5. Feel of the high centerline guard. Still, Japan with that stone top 4-foot in a real nice spot.
Yeah. It is still outdrawable for Korea. They can draw the button. But Japan have to keep guarding now. It's in a pretty good spot that it's biting the 4-foot, so it certainly would ask the question to say, well, you draw the button.
Look at the numbers for Matsumura. 80 on her draws, 69 for the hits. Gets to throw a draw with her last shot here in this 10th end.
Korea just have to keep peeling.
Minji pretty even on the number of shots. But advantage playing the hits, and will they clip the side one? Gets rid of that kicker on the side. Brings in that back 12-foot stone. Might be a factor.
It's always good to have that second counter so that if you can just nick one out for the win, you know you've got a back one to count.
選手からと同じ幅。うん、オッケー。アシレックスだ。15.6。15.6か。割と伸びてた。うん。結構使ってる。15半で。そうだね。15半。ずっと弾みで良さそうだな。うん。しかも私そんな強くなくていいかも。
Ikui Kitazawa, 77%, 14 draws on the game. Trying to put that guard out in front.
2 ends ago coming down here, she was heavy twice on her draws on the same path. But she has managed to put up the centre guard. So do Korea think now, okay, we can't lift the double guards? Well, they could lift the double guards, but are they thinking, if I have to draw with my last stone, I want to know the line, I want to know the weight.
Throw it now. And where do you want to go with this?
Top tee.
좋아, 좋아. 나 5 갔으면 좋겠어. 나도. 나 여기 아까 아웃홈 웨이트 몇이었니? 약했던 거? 나 여기 앞에 맞는 거. 63. 오케이. 68, 68, 687. 여기? 얘는 릴리즈 많이 했다. 룸이야, 룸이. 웨이트 가야 돼! 가야 돼! 가야 돼! 여자는! 가야 돼! 안 올 것 같아! 얘들아, 잠깐만! 와, 물다.
Started in a wider line.
끝까지 가야 돼! 라인 좋아. 계속 가, 계속 가, 계속 가! 끝까지 가야 돼! 고, 고, 고! 괜찮아.
Just a bit slower out that
언니,
wee
나는
bit further.
RCB 안 닦는 게 나을 것 같아. 어? RCB 닦는
It's
눈이 다
usable.
들어와. 어떻게 생각해? 몇이었어?
If it remains there, depends what Japan wants to do.
가드가 難しい. 야, 가드でもいいと思う. 킥업 스테이になればいいけど.
Japan need to think here, what shot do they want to leave Korea to play? Coaching bench looking slightly concerned right now. Deep in thought.
それね、あっちあちさんごめん。動かすのは難しそうだから、こっちガードする？悪くないと思うけど。タイム取っていい？タイム取る。
Timeout called.
どうしようかな。
They will use their timeout.
落としたら打つかとかだった。あの裏はないかな。裏はない。ここで投げる。
2 stones remaining here in this 10th end.
ここぐらいまで見えてる。ここでも投げるの難しい。あ、インターン
ガードは面白いと思う。で、ステイでもガードでもいいと思うんだよね。ステイでもガードでもどっちでもいいと思う。で、一番大事なのは、あそこのラインにもう一回ドロー投げるのが多分相手が一番やりたいから、テープ狙うんだったらやっぱステイしなきゃいけないし、で、こっちはさ、どう思う？自分たちだったら、俺は狙わせてもいいかなって思う。すごい難しい。
これしか見えてる。
だから今2つで悩んだじゃん。ヒットなのかガードなのか。俺はどっちでもいいと思う。まあ、ガード狙うんだったらやっぱもうアウトターンしか今残ってないからで、距離的にもさもう全然長くてもいいからさ。うん。ちょっと近くないからすごい重そうだな。ああそういうことね。ああ確かにね。あとはさこう曲がってる石が多かったからそう狭いところがギリギリ滑るかもしれないからなんとかまあ投げられるかなっていう気もするからまあそこの判断だね。ヒット捨てるのが楽なんだったら楽な方でいいと思う。もう今さあまりに難しくて俺アイスわからないからそれはさもうね多分自分今育英がね何やりたいかでいいと思う。どっちも間違ってない。
こっちらインわかる？いやいつ投げたそれ？いやもうだいぶワンエンドで上がっちゃいそう。あんまりね投げる。上がるかな。い よ。
いい
外にさえ当たんなきゃ。
そうだね。内側なら。
悪くないと思
隙間もあるもんね。
隙間もある。
オッケー。
う。結構隙間あるじゃない。この辺まで見えてると思うよ。
うん。
オッケー。死んで。
待って、ダブルされたら微妙か。
ああ、そう。
これさ、してでもさ。
Well, so the worry that stone that was just thrown. Do you play in and ignore it?
これちょっとこうなっても悪くない。
それは動かしてもいいと思う。
What's the easier way to try and for Korea to try and score?
何？
ガードでしょ？
あ、ガード。
ガード。ダブルされちゃうから。
Yeah, because initially they called to remove it. Was their call before the timeout, then they called to guard it. They're looking around to see the outturn side if Korea could come round and just tap back that red. They can see the edge of it. So do they guard the other side and leave the tap on the yellow? Yeah, I think at this stage in the game, it's got to think what you're leaving your opposition and. They're obviously happy to put up the guard here.
Gotta make sure they get it in play first.
Oh
All
no!
that talk, and they hog the final stone of this 10th end for Japan. They do lie one. Korea.
시간 많아. 천천히 해도 돼. 파이팅.
Try and run that one in.
파이팅.
I think there's so much debate there about what shot to play. They probably had just forgotten the communication about the weight.
So final stone here, not wasting any time. Kim Eun-chi. Gonna try and run this one back, and will be too wide. Ticks it over, and it's gonna be the steal of one and a win for Japan. What a wild finish to this one. The hog stone and the miss run back. And it is a win for Japan. Hugs all around. It's a big win. And a 6-5 victory it is for Japan over Korea.
Yeah, it's going to be like that all week. Thank you very much. It's these clips. Oh, right? Oh, it's over.
So just one game left on the ice in this evening's draw. Kazakhstan versus Chinese Taipei. And it's been a high-scoring game. It's currently 11-all playing the 10th end. Kazakhstan have got last stone. They're line one.
Just freeze to the wing. Just freeze to the left wing. So same shot. 40.
So Heidi Lin, last stone for Chinese Taipei.
30, 40. Okay.
Very heavy. Yeah. Stop. Yeah, it's gonna slow down. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's trying to draw in to get shot, but she can afford to tap it as well. Paid a wee bit of running. Just needs to nick it, and she's done that. Great shot there. Lies 2 definitely, potentially 3.
Хочешь с собой? Да, вот так. Или чуть шире запасом давай.
So Kazakhstan could just draw for the shot
Посильнее.
or play a nose hit on this yellow.
Хорошо. Ау? Бить будем. Надеюсь, не уйдет. Побольше вращений, сильно. Или чуть шире поставить.
So facing 3 Chinese Taipei counters. Kazakhstan men's team watching on. Last stone of this 10th end. Looking for a nose hit. Sitora Aliyarova.
Sweep! Sweep! Sweep!
Sweepers on this early.
Все уже.
Can they hold it? Oh, just off the top one. Catches the shot, but rolls too far. So it's a steal for Chinese Taipei.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
High scoring match. Stolen in the 10th end.
Я не знаю сколько. Thank you. Я не знаю сколько. Thank you. Thank you. 2 вообще-то.
Hey, nice. Hey, we did it. Nice, girl.
Yeah, big smiles.
Roller coaster.
Roller coaster of a game, especially on the scoreboard.
God, it's the same as Victor. Yeah, he has a. Oh. Cool.
Well, a 6-5 win, Japan over Korea. They end up stealing one in a wild first session on the women's side here in session 2. Well, it took a while, 7th end, for an opportunity to score 2, and it's the draw to the rings for Korea. Kim Un-chi to make it into the rings. Well played in. They take advantage, scoring the first deuce of the game. Well, a great come around early. It could have been a big end the other way, but instead, Ikui Kitazawa has the outturn draw and a chance to tie the game up in the 9th end. No problem for the 4-stone thrower of Japan. And in the 10th end, a hogged final stone by Japan left the open run back here. Kim Un-chi didn't waste any time coming out to deliver this. And is wide, doesn't move it, just ticks it over, and it's a steal of 1 in the win for Japan. In a wild first session for the women. The other scores in this session was that 6-5 win for Japan. China knocks off Hong Kong 12-4. Chinese Taipei steals a win 12-11 over Kazakhstan, and Australia 12-3 winners over Qatar. And a look After one session on the women's side, 8 teams in play: Australia, China, Japan, and Chinese Taipei winners. Hong Kong, Kazakhstan, Korea, and Qatar all on the losing end here after one day of play at the Pacific Asia Curling Championship. Congratulations. What does it mean getting a first win and against a team like Korea?
おめでとう。最初の勝ちで強い相手の韓国のどう感想ですか？
中盤エンド展開的に苦しい場面はあったんですけども、しっかり最後まで粘って試合をできたので勝ちにつながってよかったです。
It was a very difficult game through every end, right down to the 10th end. We just stuck with it and played hard.
And what were you thinking as she went to throw her last rock?
相手のスキップの最後に投げるの時はどういう考えだった？
緊張はしてないんですけども、少しヒヤヒヤしました。
Yeah, basically just very nervous and a little bit stressed out and hoping it was going to go well for us.
Thank you very much. Best of luck.
Okay, so thank you. ありがとうございました。これからも
頑張ります。
Yep. We'll do our best.
Well, that wraps up day one here in Shenzhen, China. For Rona Howie, myself, Luke Coley, our entire crew, thanks for watching the Pacific Asia Curling Championship.